Okay, guys, I want to talk to you today about the Buy Call Worksheet. The Buy Call Worksheet is designed to give you a format to help you take a motivated seller phone call and turn it into an appointment, and then turn that appointment hopefully into a contract. So we're going to go from top to bottom. It's important that you familiarize yourself with this Buy Call Worksheet. Do not wait until you start getting phone calls before you ever look at this, because if you do, you're going to sound like a scripted robot. And if you sound like a scripted robot, you will not be successful at building rapport over the phone, which then will transfer, which if you're able to build rapport with the phone, that will in itself transfer to initial rapport at the house and ultimately more contracts. So to start off, you always put a date, the date that someone called, date of anything. First name, last name, you get that on the phone. It's one of the first things because you want to refer to the client by their first name. If Bob Sanders calls, you want to say Bob. Always make sure you have their direct number. What will happen sometimes is someone will call you from their desk at work, and you may need to call that person back later that afternoon if you only have their extension. It's always best to get at least 2 phone numbers for the client. I always try to get as many as they'll give me. Find out how they heard about you. Did they get a postcard? They find you on Facebook. They find your squeeze page. Were they referred to you from a friend? And then you ask them, so what made you call today? And this is where you first just shut up and listen. You want to listen to what it is about their life at that current time that is making them call you right now. And you just listen and you write down, and you don't start asking questions until they're done telling you their story of why they're calling. Always get the address, street number, and street name. Ask them to help you spell the street unless it's something as simple as Main Street, because it will definitely help you with looking up the tax rolls, etc. Always try to get a zip code. It'll help you with mapping it on the internet. You just tell them, tell me a little bit about the house. You don't want to get into any detailed questions over the phone and try to sound like a know-it-all, because all you come across as is a know-it-all. And that's just not good. And then you just listen to them. If they give you any information like bedrooms, bathrooms, garage, you want to write it in those spaces as they're talking. And then if they don't, you want to just kind of ask them some questions. Most houses have central heat and air nowadays, but there are still some that you will come to that don't. If they hadn't told you yet, even if they have, you just ask them the question, why do you want to sell a house? And then you just be quiet and listen, because what will happen is they'll start to tell you some of their inner secrets. You'll find that, like George and I have told you, most of the people that will actually sell you their house have more than one motivation. The motivation isn't just because Granny died. The motivation is because Granny died, there's 16 heirs, the person you're talking to on the phone is the one that's ultimately responsible for it all, and it's just becoming a nightmare. So the motivation isn't necessarily just that it's an estate property. The motivation is that it is becoming a headache for the person. A lot of times divorce situations lead to financial hardships. So this is one of those up top, when they say, what made you call? They could say, I got a payment behind. And then when you ask them why you want to sell a house, they may tell you about a divorce. So you just want to ask these questions. You ask them when they want to sell it. And you don't have to read this stuff in verbatim fashion. But what I always say is, well, why do you want to move? And then I'll say, well, when are you looking to move? If they say, as soon as possible, I'll say, well, is there a specific reason? Why are you looking, why next month? And then you just let them tell you more about themselves and about their personal life, and you're always looking for something that you can build some rapport with. You ask them where they are in the process. Have they talked to other investors? Do they have a realtor? You ask them what's going on. You ask them if they tried to list it with a realtor. And if they say no, ask them why not. This will, again, give you an insight into some of their motivation, whether it's they know that the house needs repairs. They've been told by someone that a realtor wouldn't be able to sell it because of the repairs. There's all kinds of things that will lead you to the answer. So you just want to, like I said, just check with them, and it'll be pretty easy to figure out. Then you just ask them, even if they told you about repairs, you say, since we buy houses as is, what kind of repairs? Are there any major repairs or anything that I need to know about before I come out? And that's where you'll get into people that'll tell you, well, the foundation, we've already got a bid of $10,000. And if you're not that experienced yet, you may have a foundation contractor meet you, or you may use that later in negotiating. Is any one part owner? This is a good place to where you ask, is any one part owner? Is you want to make sure that when you go to the appointment, you always try to have the decision makers present, because your wife can't necessarily explain, the husband can't necessarily explain to the wife the full details of your offer and the terms of that offer. And it's always best to just get, have all the decision makers present for that interaction. And then you just tell them, hey, if it's okay, can I tell you a little bit about how we work? And then we can decide if we want to hook up. Now, a lot of times, sellers will start the conversation with, look, I don't know how this works. How does it work? You don't want to force them to go through the script in your desired order. If they ask how it's work, you want to just go ahead and skip down to this part where you say, we're discount buyers. That means that we're not retail buyers. We offer time and convenience for discounted sale. We close quick, pay cash. You don't have to do any repairs. I always tell people, take what you want, leave what you don't. We're not able to buy every house. So, that's just the way it works. At the end of the day, I might be able to leave you. If I can't buy the house, I'll point you in the right direction. They say good. You say, hey, what time works best for you? And here you supply the day. You say Tuesday at 2 or Wednesday at 5. And then you just go through the rest of it. And then the last thing is, oh, hey, by the way, do you owe anything on the house? By doing that, it's amazing. If you ask that first, a lot of times people won't give you an answer. But if you wait and hold on to it and ask it last after you've already become buddies, a lot of times they're quick to give you the answer. So that is the buy call worksheet. Like I said, you need to practice this, you need to get familiar with this, and you need to adapt it to your own style, because this is a comfortable conversation with someone you've never met, and you want to form an initial rapport that at the end will give you a good feeling about when you walk up to the house and knock on the door, they open the door and you say, hey, Jim, this is Tim. And it's like you already know each other. So anyway, that's the buy call worksheet, and we'll go over the appointment checklist next.